So what you'll see in this series of defensive sets, what you see when you put all defence clips together is you start to see patterns that pop up. So I'm telling you that East defence went from being really good at times to dropping back a couple of notches. It actually ends, all these clips that I show you from the first 25 minutes of the game end up with a try from an exit set basically, because they're not killing the ruck significantly. Look, there's an almost dead Marine there, he fell off a tackle. Player number 11 jumping out the line to try and arrest the momentum of the Magpies. And I think that's sometimes what players do, particularly forwards and edge-back rowers. They think, oh, we're losing the roll on here, I'm going to come out and bash someone.
Try to turn the momentum by an individual bit of brilliance.
That's right. And 9 times out of 10, what that player sometimes does is actually cause more momentum for the opposition. This set, I mean, I always talk to my teams, and I'll bring this up now. If you kick the ball right, the vast majority of people are right-handed. So if you kick the ball to the right, on the left side, they have to use the left palm and they have to pass left to right. Quite often you can shave the metres off a team. If I'm playing against the Magpies this week, I'm kicking the ball right quite a lot just because of what I've just shown you there. How they lost the ball on the left side. Quite often, if they have to palm with the left or go in with the left shoulder, a player can lose the ball a bit easier. And the Tigers are actually a lot better at defending coming out of that end because they're good at spoiling in the ruck. Now here's another set now where the temperature, if you like, of the game is skyrocketing because Brisbane aren't killing the ruck. Their way of trying to slow things down is to come up with a bigger hit. They did pull it out the bag there, and number 10 there, who was that? He's pretty good at spoiling.
Will Samuel, that's Will Samuel.
I'm sure he had his hand in a couple of times. You'll see the Magpies here trying to go maybe to the left a little bit. Maybe they've found something too. As you can see, the Tigers are staying in at the ruck when they're stood up quite a lot, but they go down to ground quite quickly. Do you get the feeling like me that the tempo of this game is quite quick?
Yeah, it is quite quick, and I've noticed even when the Tigers do get several players in the tackle, it doesn't take much for the Magpies player to kind of roll out and still get to his hands and knees.
That's right. Chest contact, players landing on the floor, and it's almost like the players are on fire. The term I use is on fire because they jump off them as if they're on fire. Now then, as we go through these sets, and this is what you can see when you have all the defensive sets together, you'll see that the Magpies, all they needed to do was just cart the ball up, cart the ball up, cart the ball up, and East would eventually break. When you're defending in a situation like this and you're losing momentum, to me you need to go back to collision and your effort to ruck control to try and slow things down. Instead, East started to fall off a few little things. Some of their players ended up on the ground, and I think they're just playing the defensive game in a rush. So what I would prescribe for the Tigers this week, because let's face it, they're still unbeaten. They won round 1 and drew round 2. That just to play 2 tempos, have a fast attacking tempo, but a more controlled tempo in defence. This kick to this area has paid dividends now eventually. He caught the first one, the second one he put down. So I think that was a ploy from the Magpies too.
So if you're the coach of the Tigers this weekend, what drills specifically are you implementing into training to help slow that ruck speed down?
I think a lot of this comes down to mindset. So if you're playing a game and you're attacking and the game's fast, then you naturally will fall into a fast defensive mode. If your coach and your coaching team focus a lot on defence, and I'm not saying they do or they don't, I'm just saying then they will tend to go in with a defensive mindset a little bit more, and that's what I'd do. I'd put the Brisbane players into a more of a defensive mindset this week, go back to field position, go back to control, because they're just playing the game too fast in defence. They're jumping off their opponents as if they're on fire, they're ending up on the ground a little bit too much, and this is only a few minutes into the first half. It's only like 20 minutes in, so this shouldn't be happening.
Okay, great tips there from Lee. If you are coming up against the Brisbane Tigers the next couple of weeks, look to play straight up the middle as mentioned, and if you are in the Brisbane Tigers organisation, try practice those 2 tempos to slow the ruck speed down. Lee, thanks for your analysis.